Hello and welcome to the Etihad Stadium on the blue carpet. As you can see, players making their way in ahead of the game. We've braved the elements just about. The rain's holding off as best as we can, but that's never going to dampen the spirit ahead of this game. City, 10 wins in a row in the league, hoping for an 11th. That run actually started against United back in November at Old Trafford. Should be another absolute belter today. The other big thing, as well as local bragging rights, there's the chance of potentially going top of the table for at least 24 hours. Only goal difference currently stopping City from being there at the moment, so another 3 points would not only mean that we'd get the better of United and get in, we'd also be pushing harder up the league table. As you can see, the players making their way off now in some fantastic suits, dressed to impress ahead of the game. Oh, the atmosphere is fantastic, and the sun's come out for us as well. What more can you ask for ahead of kickoff? Right, without further ado, let's give you the team news. Enough of me. Gareth Taylor names an unchanged side from the team who managed to get the better of Brighton last weekend. It means that Kiara Keating starts in goal, shielded by a back four from right to left of Kirsten Kasparai, Laia Alexandri, Alex Greenwood, Leila Wahabi. A midfield three, Yui Hasagawa starts in the number 6 position, Jess Park and Laura Coombs with more licence to get forward and support the attack, which starts with Mary Fowler on the right hand side, Lauren Hemp on the left and Khadija Bunny Shaw through the middle. Key thing to watch out for with Bunny today, she managed to match City's all-time goal-scoring record on the weekend against Brighton, so she's now level with Georgia Stanway. One more goal, not only potentially getting us a derby win, but also potentially seeing her become our record scorer. What an afternoon it could be for Bunny Shaw. And then on the bench today we have Sandy McKeever, Demi Stokes, Steph Horton, Chloe Kelly, Philippa Angledale, Esme Morgan, Laura Blink-Hilda-Brown, Ruby Mace and Alana Kennedy. So again, so much quality in that City team from the start and also from the bench. This is going to be a fantastic game. I can't wait. I'm sure you can't wait. We'll get back to Kel Spellman and pitchside very shortly. But before we get into that, let's get in the matchday mood. Come on, City.
These two rivals get set to go again. The players are ready and the fans are also in place.
Play our game, stick to the processes that we work to.
I think there's an extra little bite for the derby.
The mentality of this team, we don't know when we're beating them.
Decent hit!
For Hemp! Brilliant!
Comes back to the captain, Horton, loose inside the penalty.
Yeah, he scores! Well, it's come through for Coombs and she can head it into 1-1.
Manchester derby is one of the biggest rivalries in English football.
This game the world of good. I think we need to push rivalries, we need to push derby days.
I think there's an extra bit of energy, an extra bit of passion that comes in derby week.
City were just clinical.
No better day to do it than a derby.
And Shaw has scored!
We want to make Manchester blue.
A very good afternoon to Manchester City fans all around the world. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kel Spellman and we are live from the Etihad Stadium. Not just live from the Etihad Stadium, we are live pitchside as we build up to this all-important WSL clash in the Manchester derby. We've already done the double over them. Can we make it third time lucky? Well, to find out and get into all of that, I've got a hell of a lineup next to me in the form of Miss Tash Harding, Karen Bardsley and Shaun Wright-Phillips. Thank you so much for being with us today. Tash, I'm going to come straight to you. Title race is well and truly on.
Yeah, I think, if City get a win today, it puts a lot of pressure on Chelsea. They got to win. They play tomorrow. So for me, I think it's in City's hands. If they can keep that momentum, more pressure goes on Chelsea.
It does indeed, Karen. And speaking of keeping up that pressure, we seem to really hit a run of form now. I mean, Gareth Taylor has been doing a brilliant job, but it does feel at the important part of the season, this team is peaking.
Yeah, they did it. They do it every year, to be honest. I think they did exactly the same. They went on a massive run of form towards the end of the season last year, and they've done it again, playing some fantastic football. Okay, yeah, maybe there was a bit of a dip in form in terms of the cup competitions, but they've put it right, against Brighton at the weekend, and what a mind-blowing performance that was. The pressure, in terms of the goals going in, like the intensity of the game. So it was fantastic, and take that into the weekend, definitely. But they're not going to be fazed by the occasion. They've been here, they've done it, and I think it's going to be a really professional performance today.
There's a stat here which is Manchester City are unbeaten on home soil against Manchester United in all comps. We've already beaten them twice this season. Shaun, will that play a factor, do you think, today?
100%. I think that they're showing that fortress atmosphere and feeling, and when teams have that domination, when an opposing side comes, they're already on the back foot. And if City come into the game like they did when they bounced back after being knocked out, that 4-1 win they had, Man United will be hoping to come out on the front foot, but the way City play, they can quieten that down. They keep the ball well. Hasegawa, as you know, she dictates everything. If they keep getting her the ball, she'll kill the game and create passing lanes for those players to get in those little pockets, your Coombs, your Parks and your Hemps, and then City will attack the way we know they attack best.
Absolutely. Let's then start, I think, where Gareth is talking about building those solid foundations, and he's built those foundations particularly this season in the defensive part of the pitch. I mean, amazing here. We've only conceded just 10 goals in the last 16 WSL games. We've only ever conceded 1 goal per game. How important has that defensive structure been, and what has been so key about that for us to have done so well, do you think, Tash?
I think, even though, Steph hasn't played a lot of games, you've got someone, with experience like Alex Greenwood. She's leading the back line. Alana Kenny, she's come in and out, but again, a very experienced international. And they're able to then work together collectively. They enjoy defending. You can't win a league without a good defensive record. So I think last season they probably would have looked at that. They have to try and build on a good defensive performance to then able the attacks going forward. So for me, I think the defence has been just as good as the attack.
It also feels as well, though, you look at someone like Alex Greenwood, Tash, though, as well, not only solid defensively, but we know her passing range and also her technical ability gives us so much going forward as well to almost start those attacks, which is key to the way this women's team has played all season, really.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a wonderful left foot. KB, I've seen it a lot more with England and latter stages of City, and she can find passes inside, outside, over the top. She's very technical, and I think, again, for me, she's probably taken City to another level. Even though she's amazing on the ball, she loves defending as well, and she prides herself on keeping clean sheets.
Does indeed. Also as well, keeping clean sheets, key for the keeper. Keita's been in amazing form this year, Kate.
Yeah,
what have you made of her?
She has been, I love speaking about Chiara, because not only is she, a fantastic addition to the goalkeepers union, but what an addition to the team she is. Her energy is unbelievable. She's fearless, she's youthful. She takes on situations they never faze her, and I think you said earlier, it's just like she's playing in the park every single day. She just takes it one step at a time, and she's just like a sponge. She's soaked up so much knowledge over the last few years. But I remember, when she came in through the academy, the girl couldn't tie her shoes. She just looked so out of place. And to see, just a few years later, how well she's adapted to being in that environment, the pressure, the situations, the length that she goes to make sure that she's psychologically ready. People don't see that stuff, but it pays off. So.
It does, and she's reaping the rewards on the pitch. But it also feels, KB, that almost the sky is the limit. I feel like we're not even seeing the full potential of where Chiara could possibly get to. Would you agree?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really is the limit, and I think it's important to manage that, though, because she is so young. You're going to see massive strides in her performances in the early stages of her career, and then you get to a point when you're all right, I've developed so much, what's next? I think it's important, to kind of nurture that. When you get to that stage, you go, okay, how you feel about your performances and your improvement is going to change when you get there. And in terms of making sure that nudges on,
yes,
it's important to kind of frame it in the correct way. So I know it sounds a bit kind of deep for this show at the minute,
no.
In terms of the longevity and the career cycle of a goalkeeper, it peaks differently in terms of the outfield players. So making sure she doesn't have any pressure on her nice and early in her career will help her thrive later on, is essentially what I'm trying to say.
No, and KB, this is what we're all about on this show. That's why you're here, for that insight. Shaun, moving up the pitch then, I'm going to give you the chance to talk about a player who you don't really stop talking about, and you mentioned it at the start of the show, Yuri Hasegawa. I mean, what a player.
She surprised me because everyone talks about height and stuff like that, and for someone to play in a position, she's pretty small. And I went to the first game I went to watch at the Joey Stadium. I remember texting Jolien and saying, "Have you watched Hasegawa play football?" He said to me, No. I said, "Trust me, you have to watch her play." He went to watch the next week. He said, "Shaun, beep, she's unbelievable." And then I've just been watching her ever since, and just not only does she see the passes, the way she manipulates the ball, the way she controls the game, she knows when to speed it up, when to slow it down. And if I was a winger and I had a chance to play with her, I know it's pretty similar. Just get in the spot pockets, she'll get me the ball. And I think to have somebody like that in a team that predominantly like passing the ball around, it gives you time as an attacker to say, okay, this space is closed, let me try and find another one. And you don't have to worry that she's going to lose the ball, because she'll bounce it off somewhere else, change position, get it again, and then get you the ball. I think she's a phenomenal player.
She really, and I guess as well, not only then keeping the ball, but then the calmness, I guess, that would exude to the rest of the players on the pitch. It almost really does dictate the tempo and the feel of a team's performance. That's how key that role is, isn't it, Tash?
Yeah, I think, everyone was probably really worried at City when Kira left, that they were going to replace her, but for me, I think Hasegawa's literally slotted in, and and it's no disrespect to Kira, I think she's an amazing top quality player, but I think she's replaced Kira in that role and brought it in her own way, really. And I can't say more than what Shaun's already said. She's just phenomenal. Even when in defensive transitions, when she gets the ball back, she's able to then find the next pass that buys the time to then start the next attack.
Yeah.
So again, I think there's things in her game that people probably don't even notice, because she just does it with ease.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Also alongside Laura Coombs as well. We've had her on Matchday Live actually as well. Brilliant season as well, and I think it's going to be really key, particularly in the midfield battle today, KB.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Excuse me. She'll complement everything that's going on, off the back of what Yui's doing as well, and we can't sing the praises enough for Yui, in terms of like the breaking up play as well, the element that she adds. But what I love about Laura Coombs is that she just kind of goes about her business without any sort of fuss or any sort of expectation from anyone. She just knows what her role is in the midfield, and she finds those pockets of space. You'll see her backpedaling into that pocket to receive on the back foot and turn, or link play, and she's so good at that. And every once in a while, she pops up with a banger that goes top corner or a header. I mean, last year she scored that equalizing header, didn't she?
She did indeed, yeah.
She scores big goals in big games. So I just love Laura. She's so humble, and I think she really complements, the likes of, Jill Rohr when she was fit, but now Jess Park's coming in with that energy. Like, Laura Coombs is happy just to kind of like complement that, join in when it's necessary, but she knows her role, and there's so much certainty about how she's going to perform.
Absolutely. Speaking of Jess Park as well, Shaun, where we were chatting to Mr. Shaun Gota and talked about her ball carrying skills as well are so key to getting City up the pitch as well, which we've seen throughout the season.
Yeah, and I think it is something you need. Not all the time you're going to be in good control of the game. Sometimes your back will be against the wall, and I think with a player like Jess Park, she will get you up the pitch. She'll buy fouls, and that gives you time to reset. But to have that dynamic movement in a midfield area is not always easy to come by, and City seem to have it in abundance, because once you break those lines, you don't need all your attackers to come to the ball. They can then make different runs because you've got somebody driving through with the ball. So if she gets on the ball a lot today and makes those breaks in behind the Man United midfield, it'll be a massive plus for Man City.
Can't not mention as well, looking at the attacking end of the pitch, Bunny Shaw. I mean, what a player, and it feels like, has been so key to all of City's kind of success so far this season, but in big games like this, we're going to need her for the goals.
Yeah, I was just saying to KB, whoever found Bunny Shaw needs to pay like a pay rise. Like, what a find, by the way.
Unbelievable.
But for me, I think we've just spoken about a lot of players that are probably really crucial to how Bunny Shaw is successful, because you got Laura Coombs makes the runs beyond to allow Bunny Shaw to come in and receive the ball and maybe turn. You got Jess Park driving with the ball to commit a defender for Bunny Shaw to maybe make a run off the shoulder, and then you got Hasegawa who's just got time to find any. So all these little key components are probably what makes Bunny Shaw successful.
Yes, yeah.
But she takes her chances really well. She's strong, athletic, and got an eye for a goal. I think she's everything that you want as a number 9.
Yeah, absolutely. When you see as well, when she gets on that ball, it's very hard to get the ball off her when she's in the box. It's amazing. I guess we have to give credit there as well, KB, then to Gareth Taylor as well. We're going to be hearing from him very soon on the show. But we know as well there was a big rebuild over the summer, and now we're really seeing his hard work, and I think he's done so well. I think he's picked up a couple Manager of the Month awards as well, so I just wanted to give a word to Gareth.
Yeah, it's a huge shout out, there's no... It's obvious to see why he's been given his contract extension, because he's mastered the delivery of the methodology, if you will. He knows how to get the best out of his players, where they should be, and how to get those messages to them to help them understand. Like, to see the the girls' evolution since he's taken over in terms of like the fine detail that he's been able to get into them consistently at the right times. It's not an easy feat, you know. So I've seen the relentless working hours that his team put in and day out to kind of ensure that that happens. But it's become really focused and kind of like individualized preparation as well from the rest of the entire staff. So I think the credit goes to just all that work, all the hours that they put in behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be hoping as well that work pays off on the pitch, because it's a double whammy. Not only can Manchester City go top of the WSL, we can also get those Derby Day spoils. And here we are speaking about the importance of the derby. Let's hear from some fans speaking about how important this game is and how excited they are for the game, which kicks off in just over 45 minutes.
It's the one game that you look for in the fixture list at the start of this season.
Being here at the Etihad is such a special stadium to see everything the men have achieved in the last 10 years. It's just so inspiring, and I just know that the team can come out here and win the derby at the Etihad.
They've done amazing in the league this season. I think they're doing really well. They could be on for the title.
Got a lot better than I think we all expected that we should be, but overall we should get a lot better throughout the season.
People are finally talking Man City have got a chance to win the WSL, and I really do believe once we get the win at the Etihad, the WSL's ours.
I don't think no one had them in contention to be up there like they are, and I tell you what, it is just an exciting time for a Manchester City fan.
Chiara Keating, 19 years of age, coming in as the #1 goalkeeper this season. It's just fantastic to see as a Mancunian getting that opportunity and being #1 for Man City.
I think Chiara Keating's been amazing this season. She's been so good.
Bunny Shaw, every season, she's a standout player.
I've always loved watching Bunny play, and I've loved watching Lauren play.
Favourite WSL derby goal has to be all the goals at Old Trafford.
Bunny absolutely making a show on Mary Earps at the last derby.
Hemp at Old Trafford, 100%. Oh, that was good, yeah, actually. I enjoyed the celebrations as well. And the knee slides, I think, were great.
I don't even know which Caroline Weir goal, because it could be the 2019 Caroline Weir goal, the 2021 or the 2022.
I think I'm going to say Caroline Weir's chip. I can't remember what year that was, but that was an amazing goal. So good.
And the first Manchester derby at Old Trafford was just so exciting, and then we went 1-0 down. We were thinking, oh no, here we go, and then coming back the way we did, 3-1 in the end. In that away section was just fantastic, and I can't wait for them to do it again here at the Etihad in front of a home crowd.
It allows any person, no matter where you're from, what background, little boys, little girls, that they could be playing here if they want to play here.
We went and saw Arsenal play the other day at the Emirates, and it was a huge atmosphere, and I just think it's going to be mirrored up in Manchester as well.
Score prediction for the Manchester derby, 2-0. Man City.
3-1 win again, like we did at Old Trafford. I think the girls can do it and get a win at the Etihad.
Bunny Shaw and Lauren Hemp on the score sheet.
It's got to be 3-1, 4-1.
3-0, I would say.
3-1 City.
4-1 City.
Bunny hat-trick.
Bunny, Tempo.
2-1.
2-1. I think it's going to be 4-1 to City, not to United.
So if you've just tuned in, welcome back to MatchDay Live. If that hasn't got you excited for the derby, I tell you what will. They've just taken to the pitch behind us to start warming up, so we are edging closer. It's so great to be pitchside and so great of you to join us. Thank you. Right, we brought you our City team news. Let me bring you the Manchester United team. They're over on that side of the pitch here at the Etihad. And they line up like this. We've got Earps in goal, then Riviere, Letitia, Turner, Blundell, then we've got Zellum, Norland, Garcia, another former City player here, Ella Toon, Ferreira, and another former City player in Nikita Paris, who is top scorer for United against Manchester City. Maybe let's begin with that, because Tash and Karen are two players. I mean, Karen, I think you played with both, but Nikita Paris, a player that you play with, great player as well, and a big threat today.
Yeah, like for me, even when she was younger, she had a lot of strengths going forward. Very tenacious, likes to get stuck in, but she's also got an eye for goal as well. And I think she, no one can ever question her work rate, really. And yeah, for me, we played alongside Nikita, so we've seen the bad side and the good side of it. You don't want to get on the bad side of it, but yeah, no, she's got an eye for goal, and I think City will have already prepped for playing against her.
Looking as well, I think that we kind of say before, always in a game, midfield battle is key. How can you see United setting up? What do you think they're going to do today, Karen, that we're going to have to be wary of?
Yeah, it's funny because I think there's been a lot of like rotation and change kind of in the midfield, not necessarily in personnel, but more kind of in position. You know, historically we saw Katie Zella more in a holding midfield role, and lately we've seen her kind of moving up the pitch, even in the 10 of late. You know, and Nolson's obviously coming off banging in a brace at the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, so she's going to feel confident. I imagine she might be on the left or the right, but Tuni will be floating a little bit more in like that free role, you know, maybe dropping into the 8 or getting involved as a 10, just linking play a little bit more. But for me, I think they've really missed Alessia Russo this season in terms of like that relationship between Ella Toon and where the runs are coming at the right time and the passes are coming at the right time. But to be honest, listening to that starting 11, I'm still really surprised that Melvin Mallett hasn't managed to find a way into the starting 11. And I know there's been a lot of criticism of JC this year as well. So the fact that she's been back in the 9, you know, it'll be a big question mark around her performance today.
Speaking of questions as well, I mean, the end of last season, coming into this season, United were one of the favourites to be competing, you know, to be towards the top. It's not quite played out for them that way, Shaun. Why do you think that isn't? Obviously, do you think United fans are going to be disappointed that they've maybe not met the expectations that were set, particularly at the start of the season?
Well, they're going to be upset, but I think when you lose one of your best players, it takes time to get that team playing the way you want to play, because she was crucial for them. And now they've had to change their tactics and play a different way. Like Karen said, Ella Toon is still learning how to play with Nikita up the top. That relationship still hasn't formed yet. Although they're still very dangerous, I feel like it will take time to make that combination the same as the one that they just lost. So it's almost the same as City. When City had a little clear out, they lost some key players, and Gareth had to start again with the team he's built, and now look where they are. So it will take time, and I personally think they're going to come here and just try and play in transition, when set little traps for City in those midfield areas, and when they do win the ball back, try and break quick, fast and sharp to try and hurt them and affect the space that's in front of them.
Also, we're going to be we were speaking about our attacking threat, you know, the likes of Lauren Hemp and Bunny Shaw. Defensively, how do you think United are going to cope with them attacking players today, Tash?
I think City will obviously have to take it to them. I think United will be more worried about City than City probably worried about them. But, you know, for me, United have got Mary Earps in goal. If she is able to be confident and control the back 4, I think sometimes defenders, especially KB knows this, they'll feed off the goalkeeper. But for me, I think City have really got to take it to them, put pressure on them, press them constantly, just putting them under pressure constantly. And again, I think these will agree, United defenders will be more worried about City than City worried about them.
That's kind of always the way a little bit, isn't it, Karen?
Yeah, no, I share the same sentiment completely. I mean, with the likes of our front 3, they're absolutely terrifying, you know, and the versatility of when, you know, the midfield joins in as well. And even, you know, Uwabi getting forward, and Kashbrai, we're seeing more of her joining in. It's a really attacking side. So in terms of where that's going to be targeted, I think Rivieri's good physical, you know, fullback. She'll join in as well, getting forward. But, you know, in terms of her defensive responsibilities, I think there may have been times where she switches off. But for us, it's about setting those traps when they're in possession as well, because we've reaped the rewards, didn't we, at Old Trafford with that press as well, and setting those traps, playing through the midfield and jumping on like any wayward pass or anything like that. So I imagine, they're going to be uncomfortable, I think, the United defence in midfield today.
And that's where as well, Shaun, isn't it? Energy levels are so important. I think even Shaun Goat was talking about that before as well. Just given like the way City do play, making sure that we use the power of the Etihad, but we kind of are on them from the start, will be key to kind of getting underway and, you know, controlling the game, I guess. And for me, those front 3 are important to that. I think when they sense danger, or they sense there's like a bad touch, and they may be able to step forward onto that press, they have to know that the whole team's going to be behind them, and with this team normally that's the case. And once you win the ball that high up in the final third, then for a striker it's like, oh, less running for me to do. You're not winning it all the way here and have to dribble 100 yards. You're now winning it where one pass, you're in the box and you can score a goal. So that's almost like a carrot for an attacker to say, let me get this ball. I hope you make a bad pass, because we can get something from this. And they know they have the quality to put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah, do you want to? Yeah, of course you can, Tash.
We haven't spoke about Chloe Kelly yet. She's on the bench.
Yeah.
You know, if City's front 4 tire out United's defenders, City got Chloe Kelly to come on.
Yeah.
I know for certain, when I have played it a couple of times in defence, when you've done your job for, I don't know, 60 minutes, the last thing you look up and they bring on a top quality player that's got speed, ability, skills, you just don't want to see that. So again, we haven't even spoken about her, and they're able to bring someone like that off the bench.
Yeah, and I guess as well, that's kind of what has been building with this squad, KB, is we're building that squad depth and also the chance to compete on all three fronts. And when you've got quality like that, it has got to be such a concern, as Tash said.
Yeah, no, it is pretty crazy when you think about the consistency that we've managed to maintain over the course of this season. Like, yeah, of course, we've seen Jill Rohr go down with a pretty awful injury, but in terms of who stepped in straight away, you know, Jess looks like she's been playing that role.
She does, yeah.
You know, for well, she's still young. I was going to say the entirety of her career, but what does that even mean? She's just a child. But yeah, in terms of being able to keep Pete on fronts, like, listen, Nielsen, the sporting director, Gaz, all the staff are going to have a job on their hands, making sure that the squad is rotated and the right opportunities are given at the right time. But there's so much confidence in the team's ability to perform at the right times that I think they're looking forward to it. I mean, Champions League is something that this club deserves, you know, and has really, really missed out for the last few seasons. So the fact that that's back on the table is, you know, a mouth-watering prospect.
It really is indeed. Of course, one man who will be enjoying that tantalising potential is Mr. Gareth Taylor. Well, we just caught up with him a little bit before in the stands, just before he made his way back into the tunnel. So here's what Gareth had to say.
So Gareth, we'll start off with the team news. An unchanged side from the team that beat Brighton last week. I suppose if you perform as well as we did last week, it makes sense to start with the same team.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think there was one change in force on us with Philippa having to drop out of that. But yeah, the team did really well. We built up well. We anticipated that it was going to be that type of game, and the players executed the game plan really well.
And as always, plenty of quality from the bench as well, in case someone needs to come on and make an impact or a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. The really important thing, I think, from where we are as a team from last season, probably the strength in our bench is way better than what we had last year, and that's down to obviously a little bit around recruitment. A lot of that will be around the player availability and the hard work the medical team and the performance staff do, and obviously the girls buying into that as well. The availability has been really important for us and will be in these final few games.
How have preparations been for this game? We've had the novelty of an actual 7 days off for a change.
Yeah. Well, we lost today, obviously, with it being brought forward. But yeah, I think it's been great. And I think the important thing was on Thursday we were able to come and train on the pitch, which made a big difference, I think. Last year when we came here in December, you could probably sense a few nerves because it's really different for us as well. And we want to try and gain every advantage that we possibly could. And hopefully we have done by having that session here on Thursday.
These players have stepped up in the big games, not just this season, but overall. And with the advantage of playing here before, do you feel like that's going to really help us today?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the players now that we're talking about for both teams, you know, they're used to playing on big stages, and you know, we want that more and more. I think it's really important, and yeah, so I think it starts to become more normal for them, and that's what you want. You want it to be normal.
Before we get rained on, we'll get going there. So good luck, Gareth.
Cheers, thanks.
Well, KB has gone to go do Matchday commentary, which you can get on the City app, and we have now replaced KB. Can't be replaced, but an amazing addition in the form of a World Cup winner and former Manchester City player Sam Muse. Sam, so great to welcome you onto the show and back in Manchester. How's it been?
It's been amazing. The sun is kind of out, which is amazing. It was hailing earlier, but I'm so happy to be here. It's been awesome.
Well, you're getting the full kind of spectrum of the Manchester weather. We wanted to ask you to begin with, of course, how is retirement treating you?
Oh, you know, it's good, thank you. I mean, being out here at this field, I'm like, oh, I wish so badly that I could play. I had to retire due to injury, but I can't complain. I have a lot of great things in my life, so I'm just really grateful to be here and to have all these amazing things happening.
It's interesting, isn't it, as well, Tash, as well, just kind of life after football as well. I mean, I don't know how you found it as well. Is it a difficult transition to make?
Well, I've not been as busy as Sam. She's won the World Cup, so she's only ahead of me by a little bit. But no, look, for me, I was really prepared because I got injured, so I had 8 months to transition into it. And do I miss it? Not really, but I enjoy being part of it from the outside, because I think you don't appreciate that you're the same until you're out. You can look in and be like, wow, I was part of that.
Yes.
So yeah, no, it's amazing to be back, obviously, but to cheer I'm on rather than playing.
Yeah. Do you look back on your time at City fondly, Sam?
So fondly. even just being back in the area, like the food and the coffee is so amazing, and being here at the Etihad is unbelievable. I had the best time here at City. I made such great friends. We were playing some amazing football, and I feel like it was such a highlight of my whole career.
That's amazing to hear as well. And I mean, I think it was a highlight for all the City fans watching it as well. And of course, you know how important the derby is. What will the feelings be at the moment within the squad, do you think, when they're in the changing rooms, or now? How are you feeling when there's such a big game on the table?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially just considering this occasion here at this stadium, the fans are going to be incredible. We're playing the biggest rivals. I think the girls are going to be excited and understand they have a job to do and just super focused on that.
And how can you see the game playing out? What's going to be key today to make sure Man City get the win, do you think, Sam?
I think our attack. I mean, obviously keeping it locked down in the back, always super important, but I love watching our attack. I mean, Bunny Shaw has been unbelievable lately. Obviously a big fan of Lauren Hemp, so I'm super excited to see some goals today. I'm really excited for City's attack and to get to watch that live in person.
Tell you what, speaking of goals, Shaun, as well, we've been treated to a few worldy goals in the Manchester derby, so we'll be hoping for a few more of them today.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope there are a few more of them, and I hope somebody does my robot dance, because I've been trying to get somebody else to do it for a long time now, and nobody seems to want to do it.
Sam, I've got a question here I wanted to ask you, because I know you've been working on a podcast. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I have been. I've been working with Men in Blazers on a podcast called The Women's Game. We have 2 weekly podcasts. One of them is like weekly updates from games over the weekend, and then one of them is interviews with the top players around the world. We've had Lucy Bronze and Jill Scott come on. So you can listen to that anywhere you get your podcast at Women's Game. It's been super fun, and I'm really enjoying it.
I was going to say, well, and I guess do you get kind of an insight that maybe we're not kind of privy to? Is there anything you've kind of learned from doing it that surprised yourself?
You know, I think me learning how to do the interviews has been really interesting. I think that it's my favorite part of this job is getting to connect with other players and hear their stories. And I do think that when they're comfortable and just kind of talking one-on-one, they do share a lot of really interesting stuff. So it's been really fun hearing from our audience what kinds of questions they want us to ask.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed doing it. It's been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Sam, we can't not have you here without getting a score prediction.
Oh.
You guys, I'll be getting yours at the end of the show. Don't worry, Sam. I've thrown you in it.
Sam's. Yeah, I was going to go with yours. But I think I have to say 2-0 City. Yeah. I think our attack has been so great. We're in such great form. It's such an occasion here. I think we're going to have a lot of energy. 2-0 City. You heard it here first.
We love that. Okay, we've got a clean sheet and 2 goals for City from Sam Hughes. It's so great to have you here at the Etihad. Thank you so much for joining us. And now we're going to take a little pause here, because we want to tell you about these special T-shirts that are being worn. You'll see they're being warmed up in by our players behind us. Well, this is for the Derby Rimmer Foundation. And here's what our captain, Steph Horton, had to say about the charity.
So, Steph, there's a big game at the Etihad this weekend, but also a big event happening across the weekend. Before we get into talk about March of the Day, can you just tell us about the amazing work that the Derby Rimmer MND Foundation do?
Yeah, it's. I think the charity's been there for 6 years now. I think Stephen set it up with his friend Chris Rimmer, who unfortunately isn't here anymore. But the main aim of the foundation was to raise awareness first and foremost for MND, and to try and get as many people aware of what actually the impact it does have on people's lives, to raise money to allow us to support people, but also to raise money for research, because at this moment in time there's no cure for the disease. So them 3 main areas are crucial to why we want to try and raise as much money as we possibly can, and that's why March of the Day was an idea we kind of came across over the last few years.
And what does March of the Day involve?
Yeah, March of the Day is basically trying to encourage as many walkers as much as possible to do the walk from Bradford to Liverpool over 2.5 days, which is 178 miles, I think, visiting 19 football clubs. So we know how powerful the football community is, and I think football brings us together, and the fact that Stephen and Marcus Stewart were ex-pros, and a lot of their clubs were in the Northwest. We thought it would be good to do that challenge, and I mean the response has been amazing, but we need as much support as we possibly can.
And how can people get involved? Because this is obviously something that you can still show your support to, even if you're not actually able to physically do the walk.
Yeah, I think for us, it's just trying to get it on social channels as much as we possibly can, get it out there so your friends of friends might see and actually think, oh, what are they actually doing here? To support the cause, of course, I think that's important that you can do that, whether that's taking part in the walk, even if it's just one stretch of the walk. I know that a lot of me and my teammates are doing a few bits on Sunday, obviously not Saturday with the game. But of course, I mean, them donations are crucial, and I think we've raised so much money over the last few years that the money has gone to help a lot of people. It's gone into some really good research projects to kind of let's hope and see if we can find a cure in the next few years to help as many people as possible.
Thanks, Steph.
So a truly amazing charity doing amazing stuff. You can see the t-shirts we're wearing. Also, our players are wearing them behind us as well. And we'd love for you to get involved and offer your support. So if you could text DRMND10 or DRMND20 to 70085. That's 70085. That will place your donation. 10 will be £10, 20 will be £20. That code again is DRMND and then 10 or 20. Amazing charity doing amazing stuff. Thanks for Steph there as well. Now, speaking of doing some amazing stuff, Shaun, you've been quite lucky. You've been on your travels recently, haven't you? A little bit of a South Africa trophy tour, was it? It's all right for some, isn't it?
Well, we were just saying how beautiful it was, and then we got caught with you talking. Tell us now, he said.
Could you tell us, Shaun, where have you been? Because the trophy tours have been here, there and everywhere over the last few months.
Well, we was in, obviously, South Africa, Cape Town. It was the last stop of the trophy tour. It's the 20th stop, and for me, it was incredible. Cape Town was such a beautiful place. The people were amazing. All the interviews were quite quirky and different. They had like a bit of a vibe to it. It was weird. It was proper stunning place to visit.
It's funny as well. Obviously, we're so lucky that we get to come here to the Etihad. You know, it's my hometown, Manchester. But how important is it connecting with those fans around the world? Because I mean, you've been all over as well, not just South Africa.
Well, I've always said this about this club, and it's part of the thing that I fell in love with this part of this club's DNA from when I was 16 years old and I signed. They've always done stuff back in the community to try and help the new generation coming through, or to try and shed a little bit of light for them to head in the right direction. And I think with the success and obviously the Sheikh and his team, they've been able to do it on a global scale now. So all the work that you see them doing in Manchester in the community, they now do that in every other country that they go to. Puma and Man City obviously take over, throw events, giveaways. The fans come out to see obviously ex-players, and if the trophies are there, the trophies. So I see it as City giving back to all these amazing fans that supported the club to help the club grow and get to where it is. And I think it's an unbelievable thing to see, and to see some of the smile on the kids' face is the most beautiful thing I've seen.
And there's always some great stuff you can go watch online as well of those tours. I have got to ask you though, because you were given a challenge on a safari experience, were you, Shaun? Could you shed some light please on that?
Well, yeah, it was a great experience. Obviously, getting to go to a safari in general is beautiful, but getting to do it with the 5 trophies that had to meet the big 5 was an interesting challenge. And to start off, we got really, really lucky in terms of went round one corner, we had one, and then another corner, and then the other one was there, and then it just kept going, and then all of a sudden we hit like a stumbling block. And the leopard didn't want to come out to play, so that was the only one we didn't get.
That's all right, but at least you brought the big 5 from Manchester, so that's the important thing, you know what I mean?
They had a nice ride in the safari truck with the guy from Mr. Jumanji.
Hey! Well, listen, we'll get on our trip soon, I think, as well, Tash.
Yeah, I haven't had the call up yet.
No, neither have I, but we'll make it happen, shall we?
Manchester's good enough.
Manchester is good enough. Right, well, thanks, Shaun. That's the trophy tour as well. It's been on an unbelievable tour there as well. You can check some stuff out about that online. But speaking about the work that City does outside of football, you'll know one of the heartbeats of this club, one of the foundations really, is City in the community. And I can now bring in Head of Operations, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining. Squeeze in the middle there. Thank you for joining us pitchside. Could you tell us first and foremost just a little bit about what you do and City in the community, please, Lisa?
Absolutely. So I'm Lisa McKay, Head of Operations for City in the Community, and we have a whole array of programmes that we deliver across Manchester. We work with 18,000 people within Manchester. We have something for everybody. We work with 2-year-olds all the way to 85-year-olds. Wow. And we're here to empower lives through healthy football. We work across 3 pillars, so we have healthy communities, we have healthy people, and we have healthy futures. So no matter of age, gender, ability, disability, we have something to offer for everybody.
It really is a truly amazing thing. Something as well that's been going on for decades, and also a strong part of that as well is the work with the Girls Foundation as well. What sort of stuff are we doing there, Lisa?
We do so much work in the girls' space. We work with 18,000 people, like I say. Nearly half of those are females, so we're really flying the flag and pushing for that level playing field for females out there, especially in football. We deliver to 2-year-olds, like I say, in nurseries, encouraging females and mums to be involved with their children in football and sport. And we work through primary schools, high schools. We have a degree where we have female students attending a football coaching degree.
Wow.
And we have a whole host of City Girls programmes that run every week throughout the year to offer those opportunities for girls in sport.
It's interesting as well, isn't it? We're seeing how much the women's game is growing. Are you also noticing that then in the outreach work and seeing young girls getting involved as well? And how important are games and moments like this to kind of showing them this is for you and we want you being involved?
Absolutely. We're seeing the interest raised through the roof from females in football. We've got so many girls attending our sessions. Like I say, nearly 50% of the people we work with are from the female population,
wow,
which is absolutely amazing. The female sport, the football, it's really raising those opportunities. It's raising awareness. We've got the visibility. So now we want to create the next future of females within sport, regardless of whether that's on the pitch or off the pitch, really raising aspirations. And I think it's so important for young girls to see these players out here today. They're going to have those dreams, those hopes, those aspirations, but they can also see that it's a reality.
Yes, yeah. Tash, I wanted to bring you in on that actually. Just speaking about as well, obviously, probably when you were growing up, the game wasn't where it's at now.
Yep.
Did you feel that kind of, I guess, responsibility that you are a role model? We're seeing the stadium fill up now, and it's so great to see so many young people, young girls in particular. For you as players, did you feel that responsibility?
Yeah, I'm probably seen as one of the, I'll say experienced rather than old. So I came into the league in 2010, so yeah, I'd like to think that the players, the younger ones now coming through are probably looking at us that we've paved the way. We went through the hard times. We were playing for hardly any money, very little fans. So yeah, I'd like to think that they see our generation as the ones that paved the way, certainly, and we certainly do that for the ones that were before us.
Also, as well, coming through at the time when you did, as you say, more experienced, it must have had its tough moments in particular, because it isn't where it's at now. That visibility wasn't there. And also as well, yes, legend! Here she is.
Yeah.
I'm all right, you okay? Good luck.
Yeah.
Few hellos here as well, love that. Steph Horton, by the way, the biggest club legend. What an absolute treat. But I guess, the persistence that you guys had as well, we can't understate that because it's not what it was now at all.
No, and look, when I came to City, that was the first club, certainly, that, mirrored the men's game, and that's why I loved it so much. I still love it now, and, me and Shaun are still coming back whether we're invited or not. So, but, there were still moments in different teams that are still trying to get to that point. City were probably the first team to do that. But, it was a graft, but I enjoyed it. I would never take anything for granted. It was just an experience,
Yeah.
If you asked Shaun about playing in Division 2, would he change that? Probably not. Because it gives you experience, it gives you different memories. So
that's it. And you, as you say, you've really kind of paved that way to see where we're at now. We look at the facilities across the way. The fact we're filling out the Etihad Stadium is amazing. The work that you're doing with City in the community. Speaking of that work, I just wondered, for people watching, how can they support what you do and ensure as well that we're reaching even more people and helping even more people, particularly young girls as well?
Absolutely. Follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. You'll see all of the activities and events that we hold week in, week out on those platforms. But also we run a live monthly prize draw where there's £2,500 up for grabs each month, along with a whole host of brilliant prizes. That's on the Man City website, so mancity.com/prize draw. You'll find all the information there. We are a charity, so the more we can raise, the more we can put into creating the next level and bringing girls into that level playing field.
Absolutely. mancity.com as well, again, /prize draw. We are tight for time, but I believe I've got here that you got a question for our guest, Lisa. Am I right in saying that? No? Am I making that up? Yeah. I'm making that up, right. All right, well, we'll take a pause here because we've got a lovely VT where we are now ranking some of our best Derby Day goals. Lisa, thank you so much and brilliant stuff. Thank you.
Oh, that should be number one.
Well, I've messed that up, haven't I?
I'm gonna watch the first one. Oh, I know which one is it. Wow.
Oh, that's lovely. Go on, Kumi.
No, this one is a really good banger. Oh, that's a heavy goal, that.
That's a good one, eh? From the edge of the box.
Oh, that's a belter, you know. I'm gonna put it as a 3. I'm gonna go mid. Because I know there's some good goals coming.
I will put this as a 2nd. Yeah, it's a really good. I love this one.
I give like 3.
I'm gonna presume that you've picked some high quality goals and I don't want to use my spots up too early. Sorry, Kiwi, so we're gonna go 3.
This one was in my head, this one. Kaz's little chip.
I just remember this goal from where it's so beautiful.
Caroline Way. Yeah, class, eh?
It's honestly filthy. After she scored a couple of those goals, I remember playing against her and she was on the ball and I just went straight back onto my line and she still put it top corner.
Yeah, I'd say 2.
I've got to put that number 1. It's just got to go number 1.
Okay, I'm gonna go this one number 2.
This is number 1.
Oh, this is Hempy's banger, innit? Oh no, I think I've messed this up now. That's a belter.
This is Hempo's. Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, this one is also so good.
First touch, finish, class.
Actually, I have already put 1 and 2.
The composure to just bend it around. Oh, I'm using all the good spots up. We're going 2.
And I can't swap. Oh, sorry, Hempy. I'm gonna have to go 4 for that.
Yeah, I'd say 1. 1, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I go with a 4.
This is the other one that I was thinking of, I think. Kaz's finish on it.
I think this is another Kaz Weir one.
It's Weir again.
Oh, it's Caroline Weir shooting from... Oh my God.
Wow, finish. I feel like every angle it gets better and better.
That was more far away. More far away than the other one. Yeah, I mean, I'd say 4, yeah.
I think this one is on number 3.
Yeah, belter, that's number 1. That I was waiting for this one to come, that was number 1.
It's got to go 4, really. And whoever's 5th is getting shafted, to be honest. Right, oh, shock, it's the last second Kaz Weir one, isn't it? Oh, that should be number 1.
It's Weir again, and she do the same.
Oh, it's Kaz's again. Oh, wow.
It's very similar to the other one. I mean, class.
Crazy that she can do this 2 times against United.
Well, I've messed that up, haven't I? Because that has to be number 5.
Sorry, I feel actually really disrespectful putting that 5th, but I don't have a choice.
It needs to go as a number 5. Yeah, it's the one I have last.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy they're all like amazing goals, so hopefully it's not wrong answer.
Kazza only scores in the derbies, doesn't she?
Ooh, some Derby Day goals there. Really enjoyed that. Hope you did too at home. If you've just tuned in, we have got just under 15 minutes till our girls will be taken to this pitch behind us in the Manchester Derby, and a win would send them top of the WSL. Before we recap some team news, and I've got some big team news that's just coming in just a second. But I want to ask you, favourite Derby Day goals?
We were just chatting off here. Caroline Weir, the chip. Shaun was saying it was like disrespectful.
But she's done it twice.
Yeah.
I know.
So she's obviously aware of where that keeper's going to be, how that keeper is always off her line, and to do it twice in such a game of the magnitude, it's like a personal attack.
I think KB was saying as well, though, because Caroline was known for some unbelievable strike, one of those players that would pull it out in training all the time. So when they do that, you just know it's always in the locker, don't you?
Yeah, I played at Liverpool with Caroline Weir. Unbelievable player, so good. I think if she was English, I think she would have had a lot more awards or praise.
Yeah.
But because obviously she's Scottish, she had to work that little extra bit harder to get the respect of others. But unbelievable player.
Also as well, Shaun, this will be an obvious question, but like the technical ability of that goal, just how difficult is it to do what Caroline does? Because it's one of those, you see it and it looks, oh, sorry lads.
Sorry ladies and gents.
Sorry. Very wet out there. But she makes it look easy and effortless, but it isn't.
Yeah, but I think that is the art of the chip. I think if you try too hard, you don't execute it as well because you either put too much power in it, it goes too high, or it kind of guides off. The fact that it was so delicately done, she knew all she needed to do was just kind of just guide it. And she has a technique to do it. And like I said, she's done it twice. And it was fantastic to watch, I'll tell you that much.
It was indeed. Well, let's hope we'll get me a couple more of them, maybe from Bunny Shaw, maybe from Lauren Hemp, because they are starting in our starting 11. I can also bring you the rest of that team when my iPad is open. Here we go. So we've got Kiara Keaton in net. Then we've got Kasparai. We have got a change. You might have seen behind us, really sad to see Leah Alexandri went off down the tunnel while they were warming up. It looked like in tears as well, and I can't confirm, I'm assuming has picked up an injury because Leah Alexandri is now out of the starting 11 and Alana Kennedy comes in, so we'll get thoughts on that in just a second. Completing the 11, we've got Greenwood Uabi, Jess Park, Yuri Hasegawa, Laura Coombs, Fowler, Lauren Hemp and Kaja Bunny Shaw. Alessandri going off in tears there. It's really sad to see her walk. Let's be good on that. It's got to be so frustrating for the player there as well. Really sad to see.
Yeah, I seen her walking off. She was a bit upset, so I'm not sure what she had done, but you know, these are the games that you want to play for. You know, Shaun probably knows more than I do in terms of derbies and the big occasions, and these are the games that she'd be wanting to work hard for. So to get injured in the warm-up, for me, she's probably carrying something to coming into the game. So yeah, it's disappointing for her, but again, they got a quality player to come in and replace her. She's an Australian international, so she ain't bad.
Well, that's it, and we talked about actually having that quality on the bench, and we've got that with Alana. So do we think as well, it's not going to change too much the way City set up or are going to play, do you think, Tash?
Nah, I think Shaun can vouch for this one. I think City have a model of playing, and I think any player fits that model. I don't think it's the other way around. I don't think you change formation or how you play to fit the player. No, I think Alana Kennedy will just come in and do her job.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've just been beckoned forward. We were trying to get on the pitch there. We've got Poppy Pritchard is coming in then on the bench for Alana, a young player from Durham. Now we're stepping back. Thank you, producer Darryl.
Oh, the okie dokie.
Shaun, obviously as well, City have that way of playing. You're going to feel for your teammates there. Will that affect the mood in the dressing room or anything? I think it's probably an obvious question, but it's what I wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, I don't think you can allow it to upset the mood, because at the end of the day, they've all got a professional job to do here. They've got to come on and put on a show and put on a performance that is worthy of winning this game. But they will be hurt for their teammate. That's just normal. But like Tash said, she was definitely carrying something and hoped she could get through.
Yeah.
And maybe just a sudden movement in a warm-up can trigger what that issue was. And personally, it's not worth the risk. You play, it might have been longer now. She'd be ready for the rest of the season, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We're, of course, sending her all our well wishes. Really sad to see that. But Alana Kennedy, breaking news, comes in for Leah Alessandri. Before we get final thoughts from our guests, we're in the Etihad Stadium, which is so exciting. The atmosphere is building. You can hear it being lifted behind us. To see so many young people and families and young girls in particular is amazing. Playing here at the Etihad, what will that be like for the team, do you think, Tash?
Look, I think it's exciting for them, but it should be the norm.
Yes,
you know?
agreed.
Like, they've earned this. So yeah, for me, I think they'll love the occasion, but they'll probably want more of this.
Yes.
You know, this should now be the like setting the bar. They should expect this all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It does feel though, Shaun, as well, when we're looking across the game. We speak about what the national team have done, obviously, as well, but like we're seeing record attendances. I think we saw a sellout at Arsenal the other week. It's beautiful to see, rightly so as well now, the game moving as quickly as it is in the direction it's going in, Shaun.
Yeah, obviously that comes with a certain amount of success within the women's games, but at the end of the day, I feel honestly, if the women's were playing at these stadiums before, these fans may have been there before, but they've never had the opportunity. But now they have. That's showing what women's football is to the world and the supporters.
Really is indeed, and we're bringing you front and centre at home. Right, let's start looking then at final thoughts. If you've just tuned in, not long to go till kick-off. I'm with Tash Haaland and Shaun Wright-Phillips. Tash, where's the game going to be won today? Where are some of the key battle grounds, do you think, on the pitch?
I think Shaun has already said about it, but the way City press, if they can win the ball back closer to United's goal, that's where I think we'll see City do a lot of damage. You know, you've got Bunny Shaw, who's a predator in front of the goal. As soon as she gets, you know, on the end of a bad pass or a press, she's going to finish.
We're going to obviously as well, hopefully, to see some like controlled and dominating possession. But we spoke about at the start of the show how important we've been defensively at the back, and we know looking here we're going to be hoping for that clean sheet. I mean, they've only conceded ever one goal in a game, Shaun, so that's going to be key today, I think.
Yeah, I'm watching out for the sprinklers.
Don't worry, I've got you back. Don't worry, I've got you back, bro. We're okay.
Yeah, it's always going to be key if you can keep a clean sheet, but that will relieve a lot of pressure off of your attacking players to make them feel that they don't have to force an issue or they don't have to chase the game. And they know that, and they believe in that solid defence that they have. But I think the key players today will be our wingers, personally. I think if you get them the ball in 1v1s, they will cause United a lot of problems, and that opens up spaces for everybody else.
Well, indeed. Well, listen, the sprinklers, I feel like you're trying to tell us to nudge on. We've just had a countdown song come on, and I've just seen our girls take to the bench behind us. So before we wrap up, let me remind you as well, Karen Bardsley is on commentary. To support City in the community, it's mancity.com/prize draw as well. And don't forget about this all-important number as well for these special T-shirts we're wearing today. But before we see you at half-time, score predictions then. Tash, I'm going to come to you first.
I'm going 3-1. Yeah, City.
3-1 to City. Love that from Tash. Shaun, you were going to go for that?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm not changing.
You stay with 3-1.
Yes.
And we had 2-0 from Sam Lewis, so wins all around. We've got our mascots taken to the pitch as well. Hello, guys. Right, come join us at half-time. Thank you so much for joining us for this build-up. It is Manchester City versus Manchester United in the WSL. 3 points today will secure Derby Day spoils and a top first-place finish for 24 hours of the league. So let's hope we get it. We'll be back at half-time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Come on, City.
Come on, City!
Well, welcome to what is a cracking atmosphere here at the Etihad Stadium. A special day, a day perhaps of records to tumble, but above everything else, it is a Manchester derby. Is there any fixture in football quite like a derby? Whatever the circumstances, whatever may be at stake, it guarantees intensity, intrigue and entertainment. But the Blues are battling it out for the WSL title itself only serves to intensify